Red Hair Shanks is one of the most respected figures in the entire One Piece verse. He's an emperor whose conqueror's haki can overwhelm admirals, and his name alone can stop an entire war. But on the other side we have Fleet Admiral Akainu, the man who fought through Marineford, tanked hits from the strongest man alive, and destroyed everything he touched. While Red Hair Shanks goes around conquering territories in the New World, Fleet Admiral Akainu enforces absolute justice. So today in this video we're going to be diving into who would win in a fight between Akainu and Shanks. So let's start off with Shanks. Red Hair Shanks so far has mastery over all three types of haki, that includes ornament, observation, and conquerors, with his conquerors being the second most powerful in the entire verse aside from Joy Boy. Now let's move on to some of Shanks' major feats so far. His first major feat was stopping Kaido from coming to Marineford. The statement clearly indicates that both Kaido and Shanks got into a fight and Shanks ended up either scaring Kaido or defeating him. The reason is because Kaido is a stubborn man and the last one to back off from a fight, and he wanted to fight a formidable opponent his entire life. Not to mention that Kaido also had Shanks in this panel with Roger, Whitebeard, and Odin, who are the only ones potentially capable of hurting Kaido. Either Red Hair Shanks one-shotted Kaido with his conquerors, or they're equally matched, leading to both of them pulling out. And then obviously Shanks pulls up to Marineford where he blocks one of Akainu's attack. So people tend to make a lot of assumptions off this, but Akainu got his goals completed and he did not have much reason to fight Shanks. Regardless, it's still a very impressive speed feat. Then later on, Shanks comes back around Wano where he neutralizes Admiral Greenbull with his conqueror's haki. Well, at first I believed that Greenbull was a fraud after this, but he'd have to fight Shanks and his entire crew with him. But yeah, Shanks is still definitely stronger than Greenbull as he has better haki, swordsmanship, and speed. And then later on in the Elbaf arc, Shanks goes on to one-shot Eustace Kid. The attack he used for it was Kamusari, which is something Roger used against Odin. The reason why I count this feat very impressive is because Eustace Kid was actually able to damage Big Mom, and he should be at least around Sanji and King. Now moving on to the manga, it's been stated that Shanks defeated Loki, the Prince of Elbaf. So as of right now, we do not have a great idea on Loki's powers, but he does have advanced OBS haki with superhuman physical strength, and a special bounty of around 2.6 billion berries, which is a lot more than Yonko commanders. And his second last major feat was clashing with an old Whitebeard, aka the strongest man in the world, and then obviously being able to keep up with Mihawk or Hawkeye, who's the strongest swordsman in the world. So yeah, Red Hair Shanks is definitely a top tier who should be very close to Pirate King level, as he uses attacks like Kamusari and then clashes with top tiers as well. So now let's move on to the power of the man who wields magma itself. So Fleet Admiral Akainu ate the Mago Mago no Mi, a Logia type food that allows the user to create, control, and transform into magma itself. And it is a Logia type, meaning he cannot be hit without haki based attacks, which is not a big problem for Shanks. Anyways, we have a statement from the man himself, Oda Sensei, that the Mago Mago no Mi is stated to have the most attacking power out of all the devil fruits in the entire verse. And this statement is crazy considering there are still devil fruits out there like the Gura Gura no Mi, the Pika Pika no Mi, the Nika fruit, and the Yami Yami no Mi. Anyways, Akainu's first major feat was back in the Marineford arc where he took half of Whitebeard's face. If that's not enough, Akainu also tanked a direct hit from Whitebeard himself, and then went on to punch a hole through Whitebeard. A lot of people tend to downplay Akainu in the Marineford arc, but he was definitely a lot stronger than Whitebeard and did a lot more damage while achieving his goal of killing Ace. And if that's not enough, he also went on to scar Luffy and then flattened out Jinbei. So all these feats clearly indicate that anybody Akainu lays his hands on is going to get severely damaged or eradicated. And moving on to Akainu's most impressive feat so far, Akainu went on to fight Kuzan for 10 days straight, which is the longest fight in the entire verse. And in the same fight, he terraformed half a Punk Hazard and took one of Kuzan's leg. In post-time skip, Akainu ended up becoming a Fleet Admiral, which is the second highest position in the Navy. And the craziest thing about Akainu is that he has a bounty of 5 billion berries placed by the Cross Guild, which is the closest thing to Pirate King level. And your bounty is certainly a good indicator of your strength and how much of a threat you are to the pirates. As for Fleet Admiral Akainu's haki, so far he's only been confirmed to use 2 types of haki, but there's a very good chance that he does have Conqueror's haki. The reason is because you need a strong will to have Conqueror's haki, and Akainu has the strongest will in the entire Navy to take down every pirate he can. Not to mention that being a Fleet Admiral is very close to like being a Pirate King. And at last, Oda himself stated that if Akainu became the protagonist, the story of One Piece would come to an end within a year. And talking about who's stronger between Akainu and Shanks, it's quite clear that Akainu has much better attacking power, durability, and actual fighting feats where he like vaporizes someone. And on top of that, he's able to terraform the entire island to his advantage and pop out of nowhere as he can blend in with the magma. And Akainu can use attacks like the Magma Rain, which can cause trouble for Shanks while he's fighting at the same time. And it's very likely that the entire ground's going to be magma, so Shanks would not even have a place to stand. While I definitely agree that Shanks does edge Akainu in terms of speed and haki, but the thing is Akainu should be able to keep up in terms of speed since he's stronger than Kizaru, meaning he should be able to react to FTL attacks. And any attack from Akainu is going to do a lot more damage than any attack from Shanks. And the thing about Akainu is that his devil fruit is way too overpowered to the point everything is against you, including the ground or the sky. But yeah, Shanks is most definitely putting up a decent fight against Akainu with his haki, swordsmanship, and speed. So yeah, I believe it's a high def fight but not an extreme def fight for Akainu.